Hello, everyone. Sorry for a bit of an extended opening starting screen, but I'm here with Be Right Back on the screen. Doesn't need to be there. Hello. So I'm here basically to chill. I'm here to get some daily stuff done, and I figured I'd hop online and do it just in case anybody would like to stop by and chat. Just as I guess some context that you may or may not care about. I'm still working my way through Act 4. I just started Act 4 of the Archon quest in Sumeru. That's what I plan to do after I finish all this daily stuff. Oh, well, yeah, that's all right. I forgot I was going to do that. Right. My resin was close. It was actually capped, and I hopped on just to quickly uncap it. But it's still mostly full up, so I need to do that. There's the obvious dailies here, and I might also hop over to Honkai and do some stuff as well. We'll see. We'll see. But I am enjoying the Sumeru Archon quest so far. Definitely didn't go the way I expected it to from the jump. I found it very interesting. I guess mild spoilers for Act 3. How they basically showed a lot of the hype moments from the trailer, the patch trailer, in like the first 30 minutes. So I think it's where the story heads from here feels very unknown and mysterious, which I'm excited about. I appreciate that. Despite the fact that we all knew what was going to happen in those segments in the early parts of Act 3, which does take some of the hype away because you know what to expect. I'm glad that it actually ended up being front-loaded so that there was more to be surprised by. Pardon me. I'm also, while doing this, trying to do like the end of the month stuff in Near Reincarnation on my phone on the side. So it's like I'm just multitasking all over the place. I'm a mess, I'll tell you. But anyway, I do enjoy the story. I'm one of the people who didn't have as much of a problem with Inazuma. Like recently, there are definitely some things that could have been improved. No question about it. In particular, I noticed looking at the dialogue log for Act 2, and it is super small compared to Acts 1 and 3 and other acts in the game. Something like I have a theory. Who knows how accurate the theory is? But I have a theory that part of the reason for that may be that because Inazuma was unique in that a lot of the areas in Inazuma were hazardous when you first arrived and required quests of considerable length to be completed to be able to remove that problem. It made visiting those islands during the Archon quest kind of difficult, and I actually have experience with that. It's pretty funny, but I got hit by lightning in a cutscene at a very, very funny time. In fact, maybe I'll pull that clip up if I can find it. So those islands interfered, like the state of those islands interfered with the Archon quest, which meant that like having you be there for an extended duration could be complicated, and also provide a bad experience. It's entirely possible there was more plot planned for Act 2 that ended up having to get cut just because it was a bad experience that clashed with the gameplay priorities for the islands. Well, I mean, not just gameplay. There was some narrative relevance there as well. It's not just gameplay, but I guess the priority was made to... The priority was to make sure that all of the world quests weren't getting cut, and to have all of these interesting mechanics for clearing up the islands rather than preserve some extra content for the Archon quest and lose all of the world quests involved. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Whatever the case may be, I think, you know, it would have been a case-by-case thing on whether the story, you know, made you care. There are things they could have done better to help make players care, but at the end of the day, that's also up to the player. And not every player is going to resonate with everything, right? There is only so much a developer can do to influence the player. So, I mean, there was always going to be difficulty there. And I think that also Inazuma's story is a uniquely challenging one to execute as a video game, and in the context of Genshin, because it is a story about isolation. It's a story about, you know, overt oppression, essentially. So it's a very muted story, very somber, very melancholic. And you're not really able to like traveling the world. You don't necessarily feel welcome. In some ways, it could be considered feeling hostile. So there was a lot of challenge to overcome there. Sumeru feels very different, but at the same time, Sumeru, it feels like they had a lot more room when considering how to write Sumeru's story, because you had the freedom to move about the map. And in fact, I haven't done too much of it yet, but the R&R quest has you literally traversing the entirety of Sumeru, basically, to find these R&R. It is highly encouraged for you to simply explore and cover the map entirely with exploration, whereas the environment was actively hostile towards you in Inazuma. Why am I missing this last Sakura Blossom? Oh, there it is. Duh. Run, Razor, run. You've got an event quest to go play about your parents.
Let's get down to business.
To defeat the Huns.
How's this? Finally,
I always wondered if it's finally I know, as in like I have acquired knowledge, or finally I, and then cuts off the sentence and says no. The antonym to yes. Did I forget to change out my party? I did. Damn it. Oh well. Despite the hostility in Inazuma, I actually still primarily come back here to do all of my Adventurers Guild type stuff. I find the single street incredibly convenient. I like being able to walk from the teleporter to the Adventurers Guild and the alchemy table and technically a cooking station all very quickly and straightforward. Like no trying to figure out where to go, jumping over things. The one thing that I don't like, which I don't know is if there's even a single nation that I do like the layout for this, is the blacksmith. Getting to the blacksmith is always kind of annoying. I haven't actually checked to see if Sumeru's is any better. But seeing as it's not better anywhere, it doesn't really make Inazuma worse in that regard. All right. Well, you know, maybe I'll go do some weekly bosses. Mm-hmm. I just did Valen. Let's give Boreas a try. Actually, before I teleport, I'm going to switch to a party with Sayu in it. Actually, I think it was number 3. Number 4? 5? Yeah, this one. So I can catch some crystal flies easier. I very much appreciate the changes they made to like the party stuff with patch 3.0, but I will be honest, there's still a lot more I wish I could do more easily, just because swapping between teams, now that there's more teams, it's still like, okay, which one do I want? Flip. But that's just a, you know, user problem. It's a first world problem. Give. Sayu is very useful. If only I had her built. Like, part of my problem is that a lot of my characters with utility talents aren't built. So they kind of have to take up a spot in a party of, you know, being absolutely useless in if a fight breaks out. So I either have to have parties with only like one utility character at a time, or I have to have like parties with only one capable character and hope that they can cover it. Also, let's claim that. I'm also really behind on reading birthday letters. I can put that aside for now. All right. Which party do I want for this fight? Probably going to stick with strong shield, strong sword. Actually, hold on.
Take heart. Victory.
Too lazy to go back to a statue after this walk, so I'll just bring Kokomi out for a second. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Nice and spicy.
I wonder. I've always wondered if that attack can be dodged or not. Because if so, I don't think I ever have.
Into the wind.
was slow on that one. I was too lazy. I got complacent.
Crumble.
Ah, woof. You know, I recently listened to the soundtrack for both sides of this fight from the OST, and I gotta tell you, I did not remember it slapping so hard. I mean, part of the problem is that I beat it so fast that I barely have time to hear it. But even I feel like the first half's like volume is way off. Like I barely hear it, even when I'm fighting. I don't notice it, but when I hear it on the OST, it's like, this is a banger. It's fine. Playing kind of sloppy, but that's okay. Meh. One second, sorry. Okay. Time to go beat up a child. I think I'll probably end up just taking this team. Again. It's just tried and true at this point. It's like my primary team. I don't... like, Razor is just a beast. I remember, like, it was very early on in me trying to figure out how to do builds at all. It's not something I'm particularly good at. Just because, like, I can do it, but I have to understand it really well, or else I just can't. So it took me a while. It took me years to care in the first place. But when I did, I had some folks help me out, and they realized, like, I had, like, all the right stuff to build my Razor. Like, I only had one 5-star weapon at the time that I got from the standard banner, and it was Wolf's Greatsword. I also don't have Diluc, so, you know, that's not even an option. No, I'm actually doing just fine, child. I am not cowering whatsoever. I am actually right in your face, smacking you with a greatsword. I think that is the opposite of cowering. I don't know. You tell me. Shield, come back.
No use hiding back there.
Where am I hiding, child? Where's the hiding? you talking to yourself? Are you the one hiding? I don't.
Boba, get them!
One with nature.
Nice. Also, my Kazaha just love Kazaha. I missed him on his first banner, not for lack of trying. I lost my 50-50 on that one.
Your strength is praiseworthy. I too shall use all of mine.
Do, 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 do.
Foul legacy. The
Dun,
devouring deep.
dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. All right, beat up a child, part 3. Let's go. Oh,
Nice and
cheap
spicy.
trick.
You're toast!
I don't know if it's even worth trying to burst with Kazaha, but
Adorn my
we're gonna
nights
try.
as one with nature.
Can we just slap him? Oh crap! I lost my shield. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Silky smooth. A little rough around the edges, but I consider that silky smooth. Alrighty then. Let's actually go heal this time at a statue. Running around at the speed of sound. Okay, so now that I've done that, what I might do, like I probably should still spend some more resin and just get it out of the way. But what do I want to spend it on? What does this Electro Regis Vines drops? What do they? Who uses these? I need to check. So this is the Thunderclap Fruit Core. So only Sino and Dory need this, and I don't even know if I'm going to be getting Sino. I guess just more artifacts it is. I think this time I will use one of my Dendro teams. Dissin. Unfortunately, I haven't spent the time to go hunt down Tainari's flowers on a regular basis, so he's stuck at level 60 right now. Okay, last time I did this, I realized there was possibly a better rotation. I think we start with Tainari and then basically just go straight down the list.
Reveal light.
Into the wind.
I think this would go quickly if I used Kazuha's burst immediately. But my problem is I'm actually just a little short on ER, and I won't get it back for the next round. And while I can find a way to get it pretty quickly in subsequent rounds, eventually there will be a round where I just can't. So, I mean, that's better than nothing, I suppose.
By royal decree.
Time to go. Into the wind. One with the forest.
I summon thee.
I keep hitting the wrong button. I swear, I need a better...
Rest and reap.
Like, for some reason, I've been fighting with my keyboard lately.
Enshroud. Ha. Sa. Ha.
Okay, this is not doing the damage I normally see it do. Let's try that again, because that was pitiful. I've done this with... Oh, God. I've done this... Like, my fastest clear was on this domain with this team, so I know I can do better. Okay, where do I shove artifacts? Who needs artifacts? Who needs artifacts? Tinari, do you need artifacts? You do need artifacts. Well, not by much. You're almost done. I mean, Dendro damage bonus is helpful, so no complaints there. I wonder what the last substat roll will be. HP. HP. There's two of them. Fingers crossed. Elemental Mastery. I will take that. I will take that. Okay, so you are currently clear. Pretty sure you're clear. Pretty sure you're clear. Right? Yeah. Dendro Traveler. I don't know if I actually equip them with any good artifacts is the problem. What about Diona? Because I've been trying to use her a bit. Let's actually focus on Diona. Let's try this one. Let's just try to push it up to 16. See if I have enough to do that. Crit damage. Okay. I don't know how helpful that is, because that's the other thing is I don't fully remember exactly how all of the different stats contribute to different types of damage. And it's like, okay, well, this build uses this character to do these things. Where do their stats come into play in their role? Which stats are useful, which aren't? It's just not something I'm good at. So it takes a lot of effort to learn and remember. I honestly don't even look at the artifacts after I'm done getting them. I would not survive without Genshin Optimizer, which is a website, if you haven't heard about it, that can help you figure out the best artifact combinations to put together for achieving specific goals for your character. Like if you have specific stat goals or want to be able to make a particular attack or talent do the best it can do. You can't beat brute force combinatoric testing. You really can't.
Into the wind.
Burst.
The birds come. One with
Again.
nature. Time to go.
Oh, nice. I got enough back that time. Cool. And see that was clean. That was clean. I'll do one more. No, I don't need to do one more because I just used 2 resin and I have 80. So, but I'll give myself some breathing room.
As one with wind and cloud, into the wind.
Nope. Nope, not quite. I think part of the reason why I got the energy back last time is I was able to pop off Tainari's skill again and shoot a couple times, and then switch back to Kazuha to get that any particles that came from that. Actually, I'm gonna do it again just because I want to test that theory. Let's do it again.
Odds were
Fallen leaves, adorn my night, one with nature.
Now you're testing Shroud.
Nope, not quite.
Time to
But
go.
I'm not doing it again anyway, so I'll be fine. I guess maybe if I could just pull off a little bit more ER on Kazuha, that might just work smoothly. Which, you know, I could probably sacrifice some EM for ER if I had the right artifact, because my EM's pretty good. What is his EM right now? 751. So, you know, and I'm not even entirely sure, but I might have some other things that would buff that EM during gameplay to something higher than it already is. Let's go condense some resin. Should also go check out Tubby. I should just go check so I can just know for sure if there's any new spin crystals in the Tubby shop this patch, so I don't have to keep checking my own for it. But why am I talking to Catherine? Force a habit. Cool.
This realm.
Is it beginning to thrive? It's been beginning to thrive for like a year now. When does the beginning end? Tell me, please. Oh, wise one of the pot.
If you ever.
Oh, Tubby of the pot, do tell. Where are you? Up here.
The one before you.
Cool.
Ah.
Okay. Something tells me there are no new spin crystals inside the shop. Let's go to Windrise. There's a few places that I tend to frequent. Windrise is one of the only places that I go that's not a city when I'm just like looking for a place to just bounce to. All right. Nice. Gotta go do that. You know, while I'm here, let's just quickly do some test runs, huh? Nope. Shush. Okay. Sino's elemental skill causes him to advance at high speed, dealing electro damage to opponents along his path. His elemental burst causes him to enter the Pact Sworn Path Clearer state, which changes his attack style and converts his normal and charged attacks to electro damage. In this state, using his elemental skill will cause it to deal AoE electro damage and extend the duration of Pact Sworn Path Clearer. So, elemental skill will make his burst last longer. When he's in this state, you can time uses of his elemental skill to match a certain visual cue to trigger the Judication effect, which will increase the damage dealt by the elemental skill instance and fire off 3 Duststalker bolts that deal electro damage. Neat. Look at you. Edgy. It's cute. I will actually be back in just a minute. I'm going to grab some water before we do some fighting.
Good deeds and bad. In the end, all will be placed upon the scales.
All right. Let's give Sino a try. This is a full trial party. That's not super common. Okay, so it would seem the intent here is to go for Hyper Bloom with a shield.
I must leave.
Although I don't need the water because there they are.
Your sins weigh upon your soul. You stand condemned.
Oops.
Guilty.
No shield. I gotta say, I really do like the
Surrender.
Let the show be.
Judgment is upon you.
the special effect for timing the elemental skill. It looks really cool. It's also very obvious. Like, you know, it took me a while to notice that there are like a lot, if not all, of the skills and bursts that have like counters and timers and things like that. They show up. They're visual elements surrounding the character that indicate those things, which is interesting. They try to keep the actual UI minimal and try to convey that information through like in-world effects and elements. But sometimes I just didn't even realize it was happening. One that like was immediately obvious to me was Ito's. In fact, I can't remember for sure, but it's entirely possible that it was Ito's that really made me start paying attention to when characters
Wherever in
might
this
have
world I go,
markers
I carry memories of my
to
home.
indicate things. I did notice that they had like sometimes had like up arrows and stuff like when you're buffed, but I also was like, but wait, what if there's more than one type of buff applied that would do that? It's not particularly informative. But maybe they're unique and just look similar to me. Who knows? I have Venti, but Primos.
Brace you. Brace yourself.
Stop it.
Come a little closer. Here we go. Time for takeoff. Brace yourself.
Nope. That was... I wanted to do that as Lisa. See, okay, so I want to actually restart this. Part of my problem is I have, in my head, I have places where these characters normally sit. Zhongling is normally in my first slot. Venti is normally in my fourth slot. So, here's me trying to hit the wrong buttons to switch to characters. No, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that again. It's pitiful.
Nice and spicy. Yahoo!
There we go.
Think you can get away?
I'm surprised the Electro... I wanted the Pyro to get pulled first, but what are you gonna do, right?
Time for takeoff.
Let's try that.
Try not to enjoy this.
Or now
too much.
Cryo. Can't win.
Brace yourself.
This is actually one of the reasons I don't really like Venti all too much. Compared to Kazuha, is there's just a lot more... There's a lot more finesse necessary to get his burst to work properly. Which is technically true of Kazuha, but I find his skill is so much more useful and has so much utility that, like, I don't really care about the burst. The burst is extra. It helps. But, like, the skill does what I need it to do. Whereas Venti, it's really the burst that matters, but if you don't infuse it correctly, it can kind of mess up your entire plan. I'll come back and do the other test characters later. Okay, so... I think that's everything for Genshin for now. I'm going to quickly switch over to Honkai. So I will be right back. All right. It's Honkai time.
Captain on bridge.
Hello, official. It's good to see you. Why are you glowing? Is there anything else that I can do here? You're just advertising this. Okay, so I have some stamina. I've done most of the stuff today. I have to do some story stages. I thought to myself, oh, I'll just progress the story, but I think there's some folks who would actually want to see me do that on stream and not as like a few chapters per stream in the middle of like a dailies stream. So I won't do that. So I suppose, I guess I'll just go do expeditions. Could always use more XP chips. Really? I'll wait the 4 minutes. um. So I accidentally knocked myself back all the way to Original Sin by missing out on the last Abyss cycle. So this should be cake. I could probably just breeze through this. And I need to do another one of these, but I really hate Memorial Arena. I really do. I guess I need to see if I can push Callan up to the 5th one. I'm not sure if I'm going to even be able to do this one. Just, I don't know if I have enough units built to even attempt it. All right, I've done all my lights. Oh, there's a trial stage for the new outfit. I should do that. Just checking to see if there's anything I need to be doing. I know I need to do this, but I kind of want to make some progress in that before I keep doing the daily stuff. Well, you know, let's go ahead and do this. Why not? Oh, right. I need to remember how to play you. Right, changing cannons can trigger time fracture. And then holding Y gives me like a tank. Right. And then it nukes itself. Pretty dope. Do the tank again. Neat. Not bad. It's been a while since I did a tutorial, so I'm kind of glad that I remembered enough to do it, to actually play her halfway competently. Not a bad skin. Not a bad skin. It's quiet. Too quiet. All right, I'm out of here. Anything else I need to test? All right, did I do everything? Cool. Crystals. Okay, now I can go. Wait. There's no way it hasn't been. Okay. Cool. Yes, yes, Visual. Still haven't maxed out for the day, huh? Well, too bad. The Room of Kiana's and Maze. I don't know if this is cute or torture because I haven't finished the story, but I'm hoping cute. This is the Room of Bronia's, which is really funny to me. And more Kiana's Maze and Yai's. Anything I can do here? Nope. All right, let's just. So I already did the. I already did these. Yeah. Let's just try and go through Abyss. It's physical damage up, but too bad. Lightning is my game. Yeah, we'll just do that. Oh, actually, I need to start with. Probably should have ulted, but it's okay. Oh, that's that floor, I guess. And then up we go. Oh wow, obliterated. Did he not stay on the field because of the transition? Is that what happened? Oh well, it's fine. I'm just smacking people around anyway. Oh right, I'm not supposed to leave the battlefield if I wanted to stay around. I always forget that. And these are fast clears. All right, boss floor. Damn, that was quick. That was quick. Actually, having built something resembling a team recently, I actually can competently clear things. Who would have thought? Well, I think I will call it for today. Bit of a short stream, but took some time to do my dailies. It was about an hour. It's not terrible. Thank you anyone who stopped by to watch live. Thank you anyone who came to watch the VOD. Thank you for watching it all. I'm probably going to be doing this regularly. I signed up for the Genshin Creator Program and got to stream some number of hours, so I figured, hey, why not log on to do my Genshin dailies and stream while I do them? So I'll probably be on at least for a little bit every day. So come say hi if you see me. Follow and turn on notifications if you actually want to know when I'm going live, because I don't have a schedule at the moment. So either way, I will catch y'all on the flip side. Talk to you later.